Greetings, students. My name is Professor Jones, and I'd like to welcome you to Speech 100 here at BMCC for fall 2026. This is an orientation video for our asynchronous class this semester, and I've got lots of bits of information that I want to share with you and make sure that you have some introduction to before we get started with class this semester. Because you're doing this during the 7-week kind of express term, you need to understand that this class is going to happen very quickly, meaning in less than 2 months, you will have completed an entire semester's worth of work for this particular course. And that is difficult under normal circumstances just because of the volume of material that we need to get through. And even though you're doing this on a short time frame, we still have to get through the same material for the class. The other complication that makes this also difficult is that you've chosen to do this class asynchronously online. And what does that mean? If the class is asynchronous and online, it means that we are never, ever going to meet. You will interact with the class through Brightspace, which is our learning management system here at BMCC. Everything that you need to do for class is in Brightspace. Online, you'll be going through, finding all of the course materials there, completing assignments, completing quizzes. Everything is in Brightspace. And then for the work that we would normally do in person in class together, what we might call lectures, let's say, there are videos, about 12 or 13 of them, that we'll go through as we move through the work for the semester. And those videos go through all of the content for the class, provide detailed instructions for all of the assignments, examples, all kinds of things like this. It's like the whole class is there for you through videos, which are accessible through YouTube, but they're all in the Brightspace site. Now, the deal is, of course, the class is public speaking. That's what we're here, and that's what we're here to do. And you're working alone asynchronously. And so what is public speaking going to look like in this environment? And you'll see as we get to some of the assignments and the instructions that there's a way that we're navigating that to provide you with some opportunity to speak in public or class, which is required. And why? Here at BMCC, everyone is required to take Speech 100. It's a requirement for most of the degree programs. And the school requires that kind of for two reasons. The first is that for many of your classes here while you're a student at BMCC, but also if you go on for additional study in another college or university afterwards, you often will be required to do presentations for class. And so they want to make sure that you have the skills that are necessary to support you in putting together presentations for classes. So part of what we'll do this semester in this class is to think about organization, how to get our ideas together, and also how to just speak to the people. All right. I've taught this class here at BMCC forever, for more than 12 years. So I know the content in and out, but I'm not reading from a script to you right now. I generally have a sense and lots of practice because I've taught the class so many times, literally dozens of times to thousands of students at this point. So I know all of the material that we need to cover. And because of that practice that I have, I'm able to just speak to you directly. And that is what this class is about. And there's some problems that arise as a result of maybe misunderstandings or misplaced expectations about what people should do in the class. That does cause some problems down the road. And so we're going to try to nip those in the bud before they appear in your work and then negatively impact your grade. All right, but let's see. We never meet. I've mentioned that to you. Everything is done on Brightspace. So the deal is this, people. You have to know yourself. I don't know you. Unfortunately, I will see your work, but I will never know you because of this way that you've decided to take the class. If you need more support than this, which is to say, if you can't do this class on your own for the most part, then you should not take this section. Okay, there are 2 express sections each semester. So this one at the beginning of the semester is 7 weeks. There's one at the second half of the semester that's 8 weeks. There are versions of this class that meet in person, or there are versions of this class that are online, but they have class meetings online. Okay, so that's synchronous instruction. So if you need that support, if you need to work with the professor, but also have the support of your peers, the other people in the class with you in order to get through this experience, withdraw, and take one of the other sections, whether that's in an express section, which you could still do this semester. You could do that in the second half of the semester in 8-week 2, or at this point, it's probably too late to take a class that'll meet for the whole semester, so you'd have to do it in the spring or summer or winter or some other time. But to take the class later, whether that's in person or online, but in a synchronous version where the class actually meets. So figure that out for yourself. I've been teaching this, as I say, for a long time, but because I've been teaching asynchronously also, I know that, I mean, the class is full right now. And most people are not going to finish the class. And that's not because of me. That's not even necessarily because of you and what you're able to do. It's just, it's not the right thing and not the right time and not the right place. So you just have to decide that for yourself, and make an informed decision and go from there. All right. Now, for those of you who will stay with us or are considering staying with us, welcome, welcome, welcome. And some stuff to know. The first thing that I say, it's a 7-week course, so that we're still doing the same amount of work for the whole semester, but we're doing it in a very abbreviated format. And really, that just means the class is relentless. There are assignments and readings and quizzes and presentations to do, and it's just one after another after another. You have to imagine we've got 5 presentations we need to do during the semester. That's almost a presentation every week. All right, we kind of go very quickly through the first couple of weeks of class. Then there's like a kind of pause that happens a little bit in October just because of the way that the schedule works out. Things slow down a little bit, but at the beginning of the class, it just is a lot. All of the readings happen, all of the quizzes happen, one after another after. And that's just because you need all of that content in order to do the presentations and do them well. And we need to sort of get those presentations going in order for all of it to happen. Everything that you need for class is in Brightspace. So any class readings that we have, quizzes, where you'll upload your assignments and everything, it's all in Brightspace. If you have never used Brightspace before, you need to figure it out and figure it out quickly. If you don't have access to CUNY First and you can't get online and you don't have a reliable internet connection, you shouldn't be taking this class because it's not going to work. You have to have reliable internet. You have to be able to be online all the time when you're doing your work for class because that's how this class is run. So know, what you have access to, what's available to you, so that way you can be successful. Okay. That I say here, the videos, the readings, quizzes, everything is there. Most of the assignments are due on Thursdays or Sundays. And you should just expect class starts. I think September 10th is the first day for this semester for the 7-week 1. And you'll have assignments due that Sunday. You'll have assignments due Thursday. And it's every Sunday and every Thursday from there till the end of class on October 25th. So just anticipate that. If you're going on vacation in the first week of October, don't take this class. Or just, as I say here, you can always work ahead of schedule. So you'll just have to figure that out to be able to get things done in advance. Obviously, there's holidays that are going to happen, religious or otherwise, and other things that are going on. The schedule is set. So if there are things that are due and there's a day when you can't work or you're not going to be able to get things done, you need to just do it in advance. Because if you fall behind, not only are you missing those things, there just isn't time to make things up. And I don't accept late work. So it just keeps going. It just keeps going. On the screen now it says class ends on Wednesday, but that's actually, I don't know what day we finished. Anyway, Sunday the 25th is the last day that things are due. You'll see it's all in the syllabus. Anyway, in terms of this public speaking business that we've got to do in class. So the first thing to know is that because we're doing this online, you have to be able to record yourself and then submit those assignments, those video files online. So for most people, they're going to be using a phone, and that's perfectly okay. You can use a phone, a tablet, if you have a standalone camera, those little cameras that people use for podcasting and stuff like that with microphones and all that. I mean, you don't need anything fancy, but you do need to be able to record yourself, and you need to be able to get those recordings to me. I have a separate video that you're going to see that talks about in more detail some alternative ways to get the video to me, because normally you'd be just submitting these as assignments in Brightspace. The thing is, Brightspace can sometimes be rather slow, and depending on your internet connection, and also just because the videos sometimes they'll be long when you record them, it takes a long time for them to upload and then it doesn't work. Well, the deadline is the deadline. So you need to figure out in advance, okay, how am I going to be doing this? How am I going to get this stuff to the professor? That I have on the screen here, this suggestion that you create a YouTube account to share videos. That's not because the videos need to be like accessible to the rest of the world. It's just that that's an easy way for you to be able to get it to me. The people at YouTube, who is now owned by Google, have been in the business of sharing videos for 20 years. So it's very user-friendly and easy to use. There's lots of tutorial videos online for how to upload things to YouTube, and then you can share them very easily. They upload very quickly, and it's a very good platform. Again, it's not required. I'm just saying should, because it's a way for you to think about that, just in terms of being able to upload things quickly and get them to me. Then, most of my classes meet in person, usually once or twice a week, but since we don't meet because the class is asynchronous, understand that when you're watching the videos that have the like lectures for class that explain the assignments, it's possible that there's moments in those videos where I'll say, oh, so when class meets, we're going to talk about blah, 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 blah. Just understand that I use these videos for many different versions of my classes. And so sometimes there might be comments like that that don't apply to you because you're doing the class asynchronously. I've gone through and tried to update some of the videos. So you'll see the video starts and I'm wearing one shirt, and then a moment later I'm wearing a different shirt. That's because I've made edits to them in order to update some of the information. And other times, I mean, I've watched the videos many times, but I might have missed some things. So just understand that anytime that it refers to like when we meet or in the class session, like, or in the Zoom session, that those things are just, for a different version of the class. For us, we don't meet. If you need to meet with me though, we can. You can meet with me. And so I'm at the MCC at different times throughout the week. Generally speaking, my availability is usually in the middle of the day, but definitely only on weekdays for sure. I'm not available on the weekends. Sometimes I'm available in the evening. It depends on the day. So if for some reason you have questions about an assignment or something, certainly email me. It's the easiest way to get in touch with me. But if you want to meet to actually talk through something, I'm more than happy to do that. We'll just have to figure out when the best time is to do it, and to do it rather quickly because obviously. Now, I need to give a little bit of a preview of the syllabus for class. So when you go, let me think about this. I'm going to actually do this in a different order because I should talk about our Brightspace site, because that's where you're going to find the syllabus. All right, this video, I'm going to send an email to the whole class, so you'll get a link to this video. You'll get a copy of the syllabus in the email, and then I'll post it as an announcement on our Brightspace site. But really, because everything is in Brightspace, I have to show you what the site looks like, because otherwise you might be confused. Certainly, if you've never used Brightspace before, you just, what's going on? But even if you have used it, I might have set it up differently than what your other instructors have done. So we've got to just be clear about that. So the first thing, how do we get there? You go to the BMCC homepage. You'll see that it says login, and Brightspace is one of the options that's there. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a moment. I know that there's an app that you can get. The problem is professors don't have access to the app. So I've never seen it, and I don't know how it looks similar or different from what I'm going to show you online. Just understand that everything that I've created in the class site, including the instructions for how to upload assignments, is from using a computer. So if you're doing this, whether with the app or you're doing it through a browser, if you're using a phone or a tablet, it's going to work a little bit differently than what my instructions say, which is okay. It's just understand that it's going to be a little harder for you to do because I'm working on a computer. So if you can access a computer, please do. It will make things easier. I think through BMCC, through the library, you might be able to borrow a laptop for the semester. In the past, they used to have that available, so that might be something to look into, just to help you navigate things if using Brightspace is tricky. But let's see. What do we have in Brightspace? I'm not gonna talk about this slide anymore. I'm gonna go to the website so we see what it looks like. If you're at the BMCC homepage, at the top of the screen it says login, and you go to Brightspace. Once you're there, it will ask you to enter your CUNY first username and password, the same as now kind of everything does, and the multi-factor authentication. When you're in Brightspace, then you will see that somewhere on the screen it will say My Courses, and then it has a list of all of the terms. Excuse excuse me, all of the terms that you've been enrolled at the MCC or another community campus. For our purposes, we're going to fall of 2026, and then you are going into the class that for us is public speaking. I have many sections, so I've got lots of options here, but we're this 7-week one, section AO51. I have this set up so that I'm seeing it the way that a student sees it, so it's just the way that you'll look at it. When you first get there, you'll see on the homepage that we have announcements that are listed here. And so the ones that are here, I'm going to update, but this help finding class assets in Brightspace. I'll get rid of that because I'm doing it right now. This welcome to fundamentals of public speaking. This will be replaced to this one that says spring 2026 with the video I'm recording right now. And then I guess that's it. There is one other link that I'll probably include here that's how to upload videos, and I'll upload that later. In any case, otherwise, if we go to content here from our menu at the top, you'll see that it gives a few different links here. The first one I want to point out to you is called course information. Here we've got 3 links that are available. The first one, it says instructor information. So there you'll find like a biography of me and links to like my faculty page and that kind of thing. If you're interested in knowing more about me, go ahead and read it, but you don't need to. The syllabus then is here, and that's the first thing I'm asking you to look at. Like I said, I'll have emailed this to you and send you this video, but also you can always access it here in Brightspace. And then the last thing that's here, which is quite helpful, I think, for students, it says course guide. And if you click on that, it's going to take you to this page that gives 2 options. The first is a link to a Google spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet is also right here on this page. And what this does is it gives you an outline of all of the things that you have to do for class. So the class is divided into modules, is what they're called, and each module then has certain assignments or videos to watch, things to read. They're embedded in the Brightspace site, so you'll see that there's other ways to get to them, but this just gives you like a 1-page overview of everything. And it's all here in the order that the things have to be done. So it has listed, okay, these codes that are here is just so that you have things numbered one after another. Due date, which for some things is recommended because like if you have to read something or watch a video, you don't have to do it that day. You can do it in advance. You probably should. But for the assignments, that's the last date of the assignment. So in module 1, there's a video to watch, read the syllabus, read this thing about presenting remotely. And it says that those are due on September 10th. Understand that the due dates, I've broken them up so that each module sort of starts fresh. So the due dates sometimes are listed there twice, and that's why. Module 1, everything by September 10th. Module 2, everything by September 10th. So there's the first video lecture, why this fear, okay. Then we have the first class reading, the importance of public speaking, and then the first quiz. Quizzes are always multiple choice. There's 2 that are outlines, but for the most part, they're multiple choice. And the multiple choice questions are all based on the reading. So you can have the reading open on one device so that you're looking at the reading. You can have the multiple choice thing on another page. The quizzes are not timed. So once you start it, take as long as you need to. You can be going back and forth between the quiz itself and the reading. That's perfectly fine to do. It's meant to be open book, if you will. But it is due by the due date for all the things is 11:59 p.m. So that Thursday, 11:59 p.m., you have to submit the quiz by that time. Once the due date has passed, you will not have access to that assignment or that quiz anymore. It will go away. The readings will still be there, the videos will still be there, but the assignment itself you won't have access to after the deadline. Then let's see, then there's a video number 4, which gives the instructions and an example for what you need to do for speech number 1. And then there's an outline form that you need to complete for assignment number 1, speech 1. Whenever there's an outline form for an assignment, it will, in the instructions for that assignment, it will take you to a Google document and it'll ask you to make a copy of it. So if you don't have a Google account, create one because you'll need to go back and forth to these documents from time to time. Because every time that you have to open it, one of these outline assignments, it's going to ask you to make a copy of the document that I've prepared. And then you'll just type in your information to the document. And then you need to download that and send it to me through the assignment link in Brightspace. And I'll show you that in a minute. In any case, you'll do the outline on the 10th, and then I will send feedback to you on the outline. And then by Sunday, the 13th, you then need to record a video of yourself delivering speech number one, and you'll upload that video into Brightspace. And then every time that there's a speech assignment, there is also what's called a journal. And the journal is like a reflection. So it's like, how did the presentation go? And what goals would you like to work on as you're working towards the next speech, this kind of thing. For those, it's just a Google form with questions like a questionnaire. You fill in your answers to the things and you press submit at the bottom for the journals. There's 5 speeches, there's 5 journals. Then the only other thing that we have in terms of assignments, there's these things called discussion. So when we're preparing for the last 4 speeches, it's to allow you to have opportunities to interact with the folks in class, even though they're not here in the same time as you necessarily. So it's like, okay, so what are some of the things that you might think about talking about in a speech? You do a response to that. That's called an initial post. So that's your initial response to the question that's asked, and that has a due date. And then between then and the next due date, so Sunday you do your initial post, Thursday is in this thing called a response post. So between those 2 days, you're meant to go in and look at what the other people in class have written, what they've responded to that question, and then you have to respond to at least one person. I haven't updated the due dates for that. It occurs to me I need to do that now. Anyway, that's for me to do, not for you. The last thing for the presentations, there'll be visual aids that are required for assignments. You'll see that when we get to it in class. It's just that for speech 2, 3, and 4, there's an assignment called Watch and Review. And for those assignments, it's that I'm asking you to basically, after you submitted the video presentations, I have to give you feedback on them and grade them. But I also will post in the announcements here on Brightspace all of your classmates' videos. So you'll be able to then see what everybody else did and why. Speech 2 is an informative speech, and it's preparation, if you will, for what we need to do for speech 3, which is our midterm for class. So they're both informative speeches. They both use the same structure, but you're going to give presentations about different topics. So you, as part of your learning, is figuring out, okay, what am I doing for speech 2? In my videos for you, I'll have examples and instructions and all the rest. You'll put your outline together. I'll get you feedback on the outline, and then you'll make your video for speech 2. Then you go in and watch to see what your classmates did, because in watching what they've done in their videos, hopefully then that will be an opportunity to learn further of what to do and what not to do. Okay, so that then when you do speech 3, you'll be able to sort of build on all of that and do a better presentation for speech 3. Similarly, speech 4, now we move on to persuasive speaking. Speech 4 is sort of our preparation for that, our demonstration, our first version of persuasive. Then you watch the videos, give feedback to your peers, and then we'll do speech 5, and then that's a formal presentation. That's our final. All right, as I said earlier, everything is due by September or by October 25th. That I mentioned before, we can always work ahead of schedule, but never behind. So these due dates are the last day that you can do the assignments, but you can always do them in advance. I've had students some semesters, they'll go through and they'll do all of the quizzes in advance, the multiple choice quizzes. I mean, if you want to. If I just look, quiz 5 or speech 5 outline is quiz number 7. So there's 5 outlines that are multiple choice, 5 outlines, 5 quizzes that are multiple choice. And then the outline for speech 3 counts as a quiz, and the outline for speech 5 counts as a quiz. All right, so that's the course guide. Now, everything for class is here where it says course modules. So we're in the Brightspace site. Remember, we were here. We are in A051, we are in content, and we are in course modules. And when you get to the course modules, you are going to see, this is so strange that this is listed this way, but all of the modules for class are here. So module 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And then within each module, it lists all of the things that are required for that part of class. So module 1, remember there were 3 things that were there. Orientation video, fine, the syllabus, and then this information about presenting remotely, guidance from our department here at the MCC. Then for module 2, okay, then we start our preparation for speech number 1. So we watch video 3, we click on this link, it's going to take us to the video that you need to watch. Let me go back, then we do the first reading, the importance of public speaking. This is from an online textbook, so it's just going to be a link to that chapter. And then we have quiz number 1, multiple choice, asking questions about the reading, and that's due on September 10th. Okay. Then we have video 4, speech 1 guidelines and sample, and then we have the speech 1 outline. Okay. And for the outline, remember I told you there's a Google document. If I open that, it's going to ask me to make a copy of this document. Or it would, but I have to enter my password, and God only knows if this is going to work. So make a copy, and then if you make a copy of the document, then we'll get there, okay? So there's 2 things that are here. Speech 1 outline, there's a document that's called the personal data sheet. And I tell you that this is not the outline form. This is here to help you brainstorm if you need to prepare. So you'll see that in the instructions. And then the outline is below. First, we have an example of what the outline should look like. We have instructions for how to access the outline and how to upload it. And then we have the Google document. Again, you make a copy. And then you're just filling in the information that it asks for. Then to submit the assignment, you go back up to the assignment title, click on that. Instructions are all here again, and then it's going to ask you to upload the document. So if I have my Google document here, I go to File, Download it as a Microsoft Word document, and then I'm going to upload that Microsoft Word document. This is all very quick. You can go back and watch it again if you need to. Anyway, so that was Module 2. Module 2 ends with the speech 1 outline. Module 3 is then where you're submitting the video. So we've got instructions here for what to do about the video. And then we have the journal that's here. And I told you before that that's just this Google form where you'll go in and you'll fill it. In any case, the class proceeds from there. Okay? If you have trouble finding things in Brightspace, email me and let me know. Understand that, I mentioned I taught the class a lot. I'm going to say that a lot of times because it's true. But one of the problems of the fact that I've taught it so many times, every semester I have to copy and reproduce kind of the Brightspace site. And when I do that, I have to go in manually to make sure all of the dates are correct. And if there's any changes to any of the assignments, I have to update them. And sometimes I make mistakes. I am a person. So if you find that there's something that's not working or something is not accessible and it's supposed to be, or a deadline is listed and it says one thing on one page and then another thing on another page and it's not consistent, just send me an email and be like, Professor, what the heck is this? What's going on? And I'll be able to let you know. And also if I need to make adjustments to things, I can. Announcements. If there's information, sometimes as the class is unfolding, I'll discover that like students are making like consistently making mistakes with assignments or something's going wrong. And so then I might make a video quickly just to give you an update and let you know like, oh, people are having this problem, so here's how to fix it. Usually that's just in terms of the content of the work that people are doing, but it could be other things too. Who knows? So know that I post those things in announcements, and then that will send an email to you whenever there's an announcement. And then the other thing that I use the announcements for is, as I said before, to share the videos for you. So if a video assignment is due, let's say on a Sunday, and then I have to go in and grade them, I also will post an announcement that will say speech 3 videos. All the videos will be there in a link so that you can go in and watch the videos and then complete that watch and review assignment that asks you to review specifically for the video presentations. Course information I showed you, there's that bio information about me. The syllabus is there. It's also in module 1. And then the course guide was that spreadsheet I showed you with that list of everything with the dates next to it, if that's helpful. Remember that course modules is where you access everything, not just assignments, but the readings, the videos, all of it. Course modules, that's how you get to it. One thing I didn't show you, but I should show you is grades. So when you're in the Brightspace site, if you go to assessment and then grades, hopefully this is working correctly. It is, all right. Right here at the top of the screen, it says weighted total. Once I start grading your assignments, you will see what your grade is in class, and that will be true as the semester unfolds. So every time that you submit an assignment, if it's like a multiple choice quiz, the computer grades it automatically. But anything that I have to give you feedback on or something, or give you a grade for, once I've done that, it will then update your grade. So you'll always know how you're doing in class by going to my grades and you'll see your grade is. Don't send me an email saying, hey, professor, how am I doing in class? Go to assessment, grades, and you'll see how you're doing in class. Okay, and then we have every assignment for the whole semester is listed here. So it tells you how many points that thing is, how much it counts towards your overall grade. Okay, quizzes count as 15% of your grade, and so we've got all 7 of the quizzes listed there, 5 of them multiple choice, 2 of them outlines. Then we have all of the assignments for class. For speech 1, we've got the outline, we've got the journal, speech 2, the outline, the visual aid, the journal, and the watch and review, and so on for everything for the whole semester. So that's how you know how you're doing in class. Course materials, there's like an archive of stuff in Brightspace, but you don't actually need to use that because everything is in the modules. Use the modules. That's where you need to be. The other thing though is that there is a link on Brightspace for tutoring. So if I go to BMCC resources, Learning Resource Center, through this link, you'll then be able to access tutoring. And because this class, everybody's required to take it, there's hundreds of sections every semester. There's tutoring available every semester. So certainly if you have a problem with an assignment or you need help with something, ask me, but also you can get help from a tutor if that's helpful. Free. It's part of your tuition here at BMCC. Take advantage of it, okay? All right, now, what else do I want to show you? In this syllabus, just some things I want to point out to you. On the first page, you'll see that there's a box with some yellow writing, and the thing that is there is a note. So for all of your classes now at BMCC, there should be some policy for that class about what's happening in terms of AI. And for our purposes in class, you should never be using AI for anything that we're doing in class. That the class is about public speaking. It's about you kind of coming to an understanding of the assignment and what is required, and then showing me what you're expecting to do as a result of that. And I have to be able to like figure out where you are at with understanding what's being asked of you. And if you're asking AI to do it for you or to help you with it, then I don't know that what you know or what you don't know because you're asking something else to do it for you. And students have said to me, over the last couple of years, like, oh, but I use it to help me brainstorm, or I use it for, I don't want that. I need to know what you're trying to do. So when you're looking at, an outline form, and you'll see that there's all these different things that are required to be included in the outline, and you get to like a part and you're like, I'm not sure what to do here. I actually want you to write that in the assignment. I don't know what you want here. Because then I can respond, I can help you, I can support you because I need you to understand how to do it. And if your reaction is, I'm not sure what to do, so I'm going to go to AI and ask it what to do, it'll tell you. But it's not going to tell you how to do it, and it's not going to tell you what I expected. And that needs to be dealt with. So we're just not using AI for anything that we need to do for class. Just do your own thing. For some students, it's like English isn't my first language, or I'm not great at grammar and spelling. I don't care. This is not an English class. So don't worry about that. It doesn't matter, oh, the sentences aren't right, the grammar's not right. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Just put on the page what you think should be there. And then if it's not right, then we'll deal with that. Because our goal, you'll see that there's a lot of repetition in the assignments that we do and the work that we do in this semester. It's on purpose. It's because I want you to arrive at the end with being able to understand how to do these things on your own so that way you're able to do them quickly and easily in the future. So that's what's happening there. Told you about the assignments that I don't allow late work or makeup. If you miss something, just go on to the next thing. It's perfectly fine. We have a required text, but those readings are all provided to you as links through Brightspace, so there's no book that you need to buy, nothing extra. Everything is right in our Brightspace site. In terms of the class grade, you'll see that the things that are listed there as assignments count as 15% of the grade. The things that are listed as quizzes count as 15% of the grade. And then each speech has a certain amount of weight for the grade for class. There are the shorter speeches, the ones where we're first learning the formats, those things count as less. And then the midterm and final presentations, they count as a lot more. So that's what's happening there. Grades I told you are always accessible in Brightspace, so you'll see what's going on. I'm obsessive, so the grades will always be there pretty quickly after an assignment is due. And also, especially like when you have an outline or something, I have to get you feedback right away because you got the assignment, the video due within a couple of days. So there's no time for things. So just as I have, high expectations for you in terms of keeping things going, I have high expectations for myself that I'll get, feedback to you in a timely manner so you're able to go on. In terms of the presentations that we've got 5 of them, the first one is an introduction, literally an introduction of yourself. So you'll be telling a little story about yourself and whatever. There's requirements for the presentation. You'll see that in the videos. And that one, it'll just be you talking to the camera the same as I'm doing right now. For every other video after that, you have to have an audience. The class is called Fundamentals of Public Speaking. So to do the presentations, you have to do them in public. Now, what does that mean to do them in public? Right now, I'm sitting in an office that has room for about 5 people. I could record a presentation in this room. I just have to invite some people in the room with me, and there need to be at least 3 of them. Okay? So for you, who's going to be an audience? If you have family, if you have friends who are around you and you can sort of figure out a time to get them together so that they'll be able to record the presentation and then upload it by the due date, that's fine. I've had people who say, oh, but I live at home with just mom and then I don't have other family here. Okay, walk out your door and find other people. Go to the library, go to a school, go to, if you work, the break room at work. Last semester, I had a student who did his presentations literally in the park with the audience on the swings, and he was talking to them, and one of those people was holding the phone to record. I don't care where you are. There are better ways to record than others, but as long as we can see your face and your shoulders, as long as we can hear you, I don't care where you are. But you must have people. So you got to figure that out, people. At the beginning of this video, I was telling you like, oh, if you can't do this on your own, then you should take a different section. If you can't find an audience, you should take a different section because you're going to do poorly in class if you don't have an audience. Oh, but I don't, but I told you in this video here, when you still have an opportunity to take a different class, if you can't do what's required for this one, this class requires you to have an audience. Figure it out. I don't care how old the people are. You can have infants. Doesn't matter to me. Oh, I've got children. Great. Have the children. They're the audience. Lovely. Do what you need to do. You need to show them at some point in the video. And you'll see in Brightspace. Let me just go here to my Brightspace. And let me not be seeing this as a student. So let me stop doing that. And the reason I want to do that is because I have a video that I want to show you just briefly. How do I go to announcements? Take me to announcements. Take me to the video that I want. Here we go. And so this video that says here, preparation for video presentation speeches 2 through 5, I'm going to share this with you also. Because what you see in this picture here right now, this from YouTube, is the student and her audience and her visual aid. We don't have to see the audience the whole time that the video is going, but we need to see them at some point because we need to know that they're there. Okay, so that's what's required. We've got to have an audience. Figure that out now. You're watching this video before class starts. Figure it out now. You have 4 videos that you need to record and you need to have people there. So find out when you're going to have time to have the people. The presentations are, the first ones are 3 to 5 minutes. The later ones are 6 to 8 minutes. So like you need 15 minutes of the life of the people to like have an opportunity to like get the camera ready, make sure that there's enough light so that we can see you and record the thing. Okay, that's the stuff. That you need to have an audience, fine, that's required. The thing that's here on the screen, it says that the video must not be edited. Sometimes people like try to like record a clip. This is the first piece. Then here's another clip. Here's the next piece. And then they put it together. No, no, no. You press record at the beginning and you keep going to the end. Okay? Something goes wrong. You say the wrong thing. You forget what comes next. That's part of it. That's part of it, because the idea of public speaking to people is that you have to be able to do this in front of people. And that stuff will happen. Time will run out. Time will run long. You'll forget what comes next. You'll lose the peepers. Whatever goes on. That's real life. And edited pieces coming together. This class is not how to make videos. That is not the class. So you've got to have people. You've got to talk to the people. You start recording at the beginning. You go through the presentation. You stop recording at the end. Done. no editing, and you've got to have the audience, as I say. That I say, family and friends, make it easy. I don't care who the people are. They don't have to like know you. They just have to be willing to be there, and then we need to see them. And seeing them from behind is see their faces necessarily. Ask librarians, staff at the gym or rec center, friendly neighbors, whatever. It's just for a couple of minutes. That's the thing. Classmates, if you're taking other classes, maybe some of those classes meet in person, I don't know, but work it out with the people. Like, can you stay after class for a couple minutes? We'll just go here right in the lobby and we'll just record this thing very quickly and that's it. As long as we can see you and hear you, that's what we need to have. Clear view, good sound, and show them. We just need to see them at some point. We want to see. After recording the video, you'll then share it. All of the instructions about how to share the video and options for doing that are posted in Brightspace. I'm not going to talk about them anymore. The watch and review I've already talked about. This video has been way too long already. We've talked about Brightspace. In terms of the presentations, we've got 5 of them. Presentation 1 is when you're introducing yourself, and that's due on September 13th. The other videos are the ones when you need to have a video, you need to have an audience, so prepare for that. We've got one due on September 20th, and that's going to be a Sunday. We've got October 1st, October 15th, and October 25th. So get your audiences together in advance of those dates so that you can, get it happening and record them and submit them. Okay. I mentioned before that I have office hours available by appointment, so just send me an email, let me know that you need to meet about something if that's the case. Otherwise, certainly communicating over email is perfectly fine. Sometimes people will send questions to me over email and I realize like I need to show you how to do the thing, in which case then I'll probably record a video, put it on YouTube and send it to you. That does happen sometimes and that's okay. But the thing is to just be always on top of things and be in advance. If you fall behind with things, as we say, don't accept stuff late. So I will just write to you and say, it's fine, I understand, but we're not making things up. I will not open the assignment again. We're just moving on to the next thing. We're just moving on to the next thing. Okay. And when we look at the grade, the overall grade for class, remember the presentations themselves are the biggest part of the class grade. So 70% of the class is just the presentations. Okay. So the other assignments, no one assignment by itself is going to make or break your grade for the smaller things, whether that's the outlines, whether that's a visual aid, whether that's one quiz or something, will impact your grade, but it's not the whole thing. The presentations, on the other hand, that's all the work, okay? And no, speech 3 counts as the midterm. I said speech 5 counts as the final. It is the policy of the speech department that you have to do a formal informative speech and a formal persuasive speech. That's why they count as so much. If you don't do one of those presentations, it will be almost impossible for you to pass. I say almost. The reality, though, from my experience, teaching the class for all these years, if you don't do one of those presentations, you won't pass. You won't pass. So know that, okay? Don't fret, oh, I missed one multiple choice quiz, oh, I'm freaking out. At the beginning of the semester, your grade will look poorly if you miss something, just because we haven't graded anything yet. But like once we get into like speech 3 and we've done that presentation, your grade will either improve or it'll settle in the sunken place from which there is no recovery if you've missed the presentations. Okay, so the videos are the most important thing, they're the biggest part of your grade. Keep that in mind. Okie dokie. If you need something, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be in touch through the comments on your assignments. All right, take care.